getting into chapter 157 of Chainsaw Man called College Fund, and it starts off outside the Tokyo Devil Detention Center where Denji is getting dissected. And standing outside the center is Asa Mitaka and even Fami, the Famine Devil, who stands beside her. And Asa seemingly has her arm still missing when it was lopped off by Yoshida. Fami asks her if her arm hurts, but Asa bluntly replies saying it's fine and to forget it. Then asks why they're there wearing their school uniforms. Fami answers saying it's the least suspicious outfit since they sometimes host school tours, and well, I don't know, I'd say it's a little bit more suspicious. But Asa says okay, asking what happens now, and Fami goes on to state that they'll be fired upon by the defenses if they trip the sensors about 10 feet away from them. The scars then appear on Asa's face, indicating that Yoru is now asking the questions, and the questions she asks is where she can find Chainsaw Man in the facility, calling Fami by her full name, Famine. Fami doesn't seem to respond, so Yoru asks again, this time saying Fami, and she responds saying that he's located underground on floor B3. And destroying the entrance will be her only way in, and it's Asa's job. The scars then disappear from her face, showing Asa is now back in control, and this sequence just shows how connected Asa and Yoru are now, switching in and out effortlessly. It's actually really nice to see. We learn here that their goal is to actually defeat Chainsaw Man in order to save Chainsaw Man, which Asa asks Fami about, who confirms that that is in fact correct. And Asa looks down briefly before touching her missing arm. Yoru then notes that Asa might be getting cold feet and to pull herself together, but Asa denies this and thinks to herself that Chainsaw Man saved her again and again, so it's her turn to save him. She then starts walking towards the building, and within the building we see two men looking at a monitor connected to a camera outside. One of them says that they don't look like devils, and the other just plainly states, "Guess we'll shoot them." And then massive guns appear from the ground, aiming at Asa and Fami, but they don't seem to fire, and one of the old men are surprised at this, but also questions why the guns look different than they normally do. And the guns have this weird spikes on their back, as well as 10,000 number on the side, and what looks like yen coins in the chamber. Fami then goes on to explain that due to Asa's recent popularity being on TV, the church giving her support and compensation payouts, she had around 1.3 million yen in the bank, and using a contract Fami drew up for her, she purchased the weapon system, or at least that's what Asa thinks she did, meaning that because she thought she bought the weapons, she can now control them. With this, Asa shouts "College Fund turret," and they turn and fire directly into the entrance of the detention center. And Yoru appears basically mocking Asa by saying she's naive, since there's no real way you could buy those kind of weapons with the money she had. Fami jumps in, confirming that Asa's power is indeed growing stronger from the war, because she's now able to transform things into weapons without touching them. And now, with a hole torn into the side of the detention center, Asa shouts that she did it. Inside the building, the alarms ring out, and an announcement signals that two devils who look like schoolgirls have entered the facility and for all personnel to brace for their attack. And what was the point of the schoolgirl outfit? I mean, they fired straight away anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered, and it kind of makes them more noticeable now anyway. One of the old guys who initially fired upon Asa and Fami states that the other weapons on their system aren't working and they must be dealing with some nasty devils, and the other man then recognizes Asa from the Chainsaw Man church. He goes on to question if they're here to break out Denji since he's being held at this facility. Asa and Fami then run through the facility, and Fami states that Asa will have to engage enemies directly since they can't use the weapons ahead of them because they're not working. But Asa retorts, stating that she only has one arm and Fami should do it instead. But Fami replies that she is their trump card and should be saved for life. And Asa remarks again, but Fami suddenly tells her to stop as she steps out into a corridor where guards are patrolling looking for them. Fami then tells her to be cautious because even though she's stronger, a single mistake could kill her. And Asa agrees before running out from behind cover and falling down onto the ground in front of the patrolling guards, who just turn to look at her in astonishment. Asa just stares in disbelief, and the guards alert everyone around them that they found the intruders. And the chapter ends there with the last panel of Fami calling Asa a klutz and holding one of her mini effigies to help protect them. But before we get into the rest of the chapter, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my small channel grow. Also, I've made a Patreon and it's in the description below. Support me if you'd like. Now getting straight into the second chapter of today's video called Gyoni Guillotine, and it's immediately back with Fami holding her effigy, and the guards ready themselves and begin to fire, while Asa is still just confused at the fact she trips. Fami drops the effigy, and as the guards fire into the corridor, one of them looks up at something before them and is stunned at the sight, and it's revealed to be a looming bird-like devil with a jagged blade in the middle, which tells us that this is in fact the guillotine devil taken under control by Fami. Fami tells it to kill them all, and the devil shouts "Gyoni" before spreading out its wings and slicing their guns and clothes off until they're sitting there naked and screaming in surprise. They surrender immediately, but Fami seems disappointed, scolding the guillotine devil since she told it to kill them, but the devil just screams "Gyoni" again. Asa is surprised and asks why she didn't do that in the first place, but Fami responds saying the devils she summons with her power are weak and there's also restrictions. Asa asks what they are, but Fami just says that they're secret, and while they're talking, one of the naked guards rushes towards them to punch him. Asa quickly parries his punch before Yoru can take control, who then kicks him away in a swift motion. Yoru then compliments the parry, and Asa tells her that she's picked up some moves from being in fights recently. The man begs her not to kill him, saying he'll do anything as Yoru steps forward. She then demands him to lick her shoes, but the guillotine devil suddenly shouts and a door on the opposite side of the corridor opens up. The naked guards turn around to look, and one of them says that they must be there to break them out. Yoru is surprised, and it's revealed that who opened the door was in fact Haruka, Saigi, and Nobana, the members of the Devil Hunter Club at Denji's high school. Haruka particularly being the one to pretend to be Chainsaw Man at the school, if you have forgotten. The guillotine devil screams again, scaring Nobana, and Fami tells it to shut up. Haruka wonders if Fami came to break them out, but is reminded of her actions and looks frustrated before ordering Saigi and Nobana to get behind him. He then demands her to go away and leave them alone, and she just complies. But Haruka continues to explain that their family's lives have been ruined thanks to her machinations. Apparently, it had gotten to the extent that he and his fellow club members were placed on the country's most wanted list. And he then rescinds her and Asa's membership of the Devil Hunter Club and announces his free will, to which Fami gives a nonchalant response. Asa explains how the two of them aren't actually there to rescue the Devil Hunter Club members, but rather Chainsaw Man. Haruka is surprised at this statement and ponders for a second, questioning the fact that Chainsaw Man is actually here in this facility. And Asa and Fami tell them to do what they want and continue to run down the corridor in order to find Denji. But when she turns around, she realizes that everyone is following her, and Haruka, clearly enthralled with the fact that he can now meet his idol, runs after them. And the chapter ends there with the guillotine devil screaming again, of course. Now getting into some speculation, this is the point where Yoru and the rest of the Devil Hunters will find out that Denji is their one and true Chainsaw Man. I bet they've never had any idea, and it will be both a hilarious and fantastic reveal for them, as they're surprised a dimwit like Denji could be the great Chainsaw Man. This chapter is a little bit more interesting than the ones we've had previously. It's a little bit longer and we had some good comedic relief, particularly from our good old friend Gilly the Guillotine Devil. I really hope it doesn't get killed since it has some great reactions. It's now coming to the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy you stopped by. My channel is steadily growing and I'm amazed at the support I'm getting. And I also have a Patreon now, so feel free to support me however you like. The link will be in the description, and I will shout out names at the end of each video. Thank you again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.